Well, good Friday morning to everybody. Hope everybody is doing well on this Friday. I believe it's March the 27th, 2026. Today we are at June 18th, 1987, final game of this Thursday, June 18th, 1987. Game number 447 overall. We're at Angels or Anaheim Stadium in California. Kansas City Royals and the California Angels. Angel Stadium or Anaheim Stadium plays symmetrical. Singles are 1 to 5 and home runs 1 to 12, both sides of the plate. Kansas City won the real game 10 to 4. And we'll see what happens in this game. We got two right-handers on the mound. Willie Fraser for the Angels and Mark Gubicza for the Royals. Look at the standings or the one-loss record of each team. California in second place, chasing Oakland. They are 34 and 31. Kansas City 30 and 32. They're just trying to get back to 500. You can't really challenge any leaders until you at least get to 500. All right, so we'll look at Willie Fraser now, and we'll look at Gubicza later. Willie Fraser, we bring up his numbers on the Strat-O-Matic computer. Willie Fraser in the real season was 10 and 10 with a 3.92 ERA and 1 save. On the replay, he is 6 and 2 with a 3.03 ERA, no saves. 68 innings pitched, 72 hits, 16 walks, 32 strikeouts. He does have a 14 wild pitch and a 2 balk rating. He is a -1 thanks to Bob Boone because Fraser on his own is a +2, but Bob Boone's -3 covers that weakness to make it a -1. So looks like that's all the pertinent information that's needed right now. We'll worry about Gubicza in the bottom half of the inning. Leading off for the Kansas City Royals will be Willie Wilson. That's ever dice, of course. Willie Wilson, who is hitting .279 on the replay, 2 homers and 13 runs driven in. Oh, yeah, by the way, he had .279 real world, so he's right on his pattern. He's had 240 at-bats in the replay, 610 at-bats real world, so he's roughly just a shade past a third of the way through. But it's kind of nice to see where they're right on line where they should be. And, of course, before the first pitch, we have the ceremonial first sip. And that is good coffee. That's so good, I'm going to do it again. All right. Willie Fraser facing Willie Wilson. Couple of Willies going at it. Willy-nilly here in Anaheim Stadium. We're underway. 2-6 for Wilson. That's a ground ball to short. Easy play there for Schofield. And a good idea if you're Willie Fraser to keep Willie Wilson off the base paths. Here's Kevin Seitzer, third baseman. Seitzer hitting .293 on the replay. 8 homers, 34 runs driven in. He hit .323 real world. 4-12, and that's a ground ball first base C. So Joyner will field it and flip to Fraser covering for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for George Brett, designated hitter. Brett hitting .273 on the replay, 2 homers, 7 driven in. He hit .250 real world. 1-5, and that's a straight out home run, George Brett, no doubt about it. No D20, you can take the D20 and throw it away. 1-5 is a solid home run for George Brett. And he was short on his home runs. He hit 22 home runs real world. This is only his third. Of course, he's been injured a lot. This is only his 67th at bat. So he gets his third home run in his 67th at bat. He had 22 home runs and 427 at bats. So George Brett, a no-doubter. Home run number 3 on the replay. RBI number 8, and the Royals lead it 1-0. And here is Danny Tartable. Tartable on the replay hitting .333, 15 homers, 43 driven in. He hit .309 real world. Most of the regular players are now have over 200 at bats, so really good sample size to see how they're doing. 3-7 is a base on balls, so Willie Fraser a little bit too careful with Tartable. Tartable not really going to run, so he'll stand pat. Here's Frank White. White hitting .236. That's a 1. Chance of a wild pitch on Fraser, and his wild pitch rating is a 14. but it's blocked by Boone. Nice play by Bob Boone. Keeps that from getting past him. So White will step in. White hitting 236 on the replay. 7 homers, 23 driven in. He hit 245 real season. 6-6, and that is a 1-2 single. That's going to be a line out to Schofield to end the inning. But George Brett's homer puts the Royals in front 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the first. And remember, Kansas City won this game real world 10-4. And Mark Gubicza did pitch a complete game in the actual game. So now we look at Mr. Gubicza. Mark Gubicza on the regular season, 13-18 with a 3.98 ERA. On the replay, he's just 5-5 with a 4.18 ERA. 88 innings pitched, 86 hits, 34 walks, and 60 strikeouts for Mr. Gubicza. Or if you're so inclined to call him like a certain person on YouTube, Gubicza. All right, here's Brian Downing, designated hitter. He hit 329 on the replay, 16 homers, 49 driven in, 272 in the real season. That's a 6-11. 6-11, ground ball first base X. We are looking at bye-bye Balboni. He's a 4-E18, so this could be problematic. 4-9, that he should get to that, you would think. 4-9. Yep, it's a G3 pound, but nobody's on base to be held, so the pound's irrelevant, just a G3. That is a 9, and Balboni is an E18. And there's no 9. There's 11, 12, 14, and 17. So Balboni ranges to get it, flips to Gubicza covering, and that'll take care of Brian Downing. One away, and that's going to bring up Devon White. White hitting 293 on the replay, 10 homers, 40 driven in. He at 263 real world. Switch hitter. 1-6, and he struck him out. Mark Gubicza picks up strikeout number 1. Only took him 2 batters to do it. And here's Wally World, Wally Joyner. He's hitting 301 on the replay. 16 homers, 38 driven in. He at 285 real world. I think it was 285. Yeah, 285 real world. 3-4, and that's a line out to short that is snagged by Salazar. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Mark Gubicza. At the end of 1, no score. Royals lead at 1-0, I should say. No score for California. 1-0 Kansas City. Hope you're doing well on this Friday. Opening baseball has started in earnest. Opening day yesterday. A lot of games going on. A lot of weird stuff, though, with the TV coverage, because if you don't have Peacock or you don't have Netflix or whatever, you miss out on some games. Fortunately, I have T-Mobile, so they give you the, one of the perks is you get that MLB package. But even on that, some of those are blacked out. So, I'm going to try my best. I thought if I start early, start at the beginning of the season, try to learn the players in earnest, give it a full college effort to see if I can like the modern season. And if I do, then that way when 2026 season comes out at the end of this year or beginning of next year, then I might do some sort of replay with the modern season. But I'd have to start now and build up to it, hopefully. I don't know. Here is Bo Jackson. I'm not sure what I think of this, ABS challenges and stuff. I don't know. As bad as umpires are sometimes, I think the human element still needs to be in there, but maybe I'm just old school. Here's Bo Jackson, 238 hitter on the replay, 8 homers, 22 driven in. He at 235 real world. Everybody has their own styles they like, so nobody's right or wrong. 2-6 for Bo, and he strikes out. That's the first strikeout for Fraser. One away, and here's Steve Balboni. Balboni hitting a paltry 177 on the replay, 11 homers, 25 driven in. He at 207 real world. 1-9 for Balboni, and he's going to draw the base on ball. Second walk issued by Fraser. Balboni, of course, no threat to run. You see, he has nothing here, so he can't even attempt to lead if he wanted to. So here's Angel Salazar, the shortstop. Yeah, I'm going to try. I'm going to give it a go, and we'll see how it plays out. I might try to pick, instead of trying to follow everybody, maybe I'll pick like one team and try to follow them. That way I can learn the players really well and follow their trek throughout the season, and then do the season replay of them in the next card set that comes out. I don't know. I've got to figure it out. All right, here is Angel Salazar. He is hitting 231 on the replay, 2 homers, 12 driven in. He at 205 on the real season. 1-4, and that's a pop up to first base. Wally Joyner will camp under it for out number 2. 2 down for the number 9 hitter, Jamie Quirk. Yeah, the gambling stuff is not good, because you never wonder if the game's on the up and up. You don't know if anybody's being influenced by that. Ads in general on there just drive me crazy. And now the uniforms almost look like NASCAR now, because they've got all these ads on their uniforms. So they're trying to make every buck they can make, which is unfortunate. Here's Quirk, 279 average on the replay, a homer and 14 driven in. He at 236 real world. That's a 411 lefty, and as a fly ball right field X, we are looking at Mark Ryle in right field. He's a 3E15, so that could be a little problematic. That E15 is kind of higher than you want for an outfielder error check, but we'll find out. First, we're up here for the 3. 3 and a 17, that's not a problem. That's an F3. That is an 11, and he is an E15. E15, he got a break. There's a 3, 6, 18, 4, 12, 14, and 17, but no. Oh, I'm sorry, that is a 12. He did not catch a break. That's a 2-base error. I misread that, thinking that was 11. That's a 12, so that is a 2-base error on an E15 outfielder. A 12 is a 2-base error on Mark Ryle. So that's going to put runners at second and third with 2 outs. And Fraser thought he was out of the inning, but Ryle made a gaffe, and that puts runners at second and third for Willie Wilson. Good morning, Dan. Captain, I feel your pain. Dan, I don't know if you saw my unboxing or not, but the game of the week will be starting a week from tomorrow in Fall Classic with the 1979 season. First game will be the Phillies and the Cardinals, because that was the actual NBC game of the week that season. Started off. All right, here's Willie Wilson in the clutch. Willie Wilson in the clutch loses a hit here on 2-8. Loses a whole bunch of hits here in column 3. 3-8, 3-9, and 3-10 all turned to outs. So definitely anti-clutch is Mr. Wilson. 3-4, and he's going to pop it up to Joyner to end the inning. Every time I say the term Mr. Wilson, I think of Dennis the Menace. I don't know why. It just popped in my head that way, but maybe I'm showing my age. All right, so we go to the bottom of the second. Of course, if you're watching this, you probably are up there with me in age too, because I don't think we have any 20-somethings watching. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. Probably not even any 30-somethings. You probably got to be a minimum of 50 to even watch to even be looking at this stuff, because that's just what the hobby is. The younger people are into the computers and stuff, video games and whatever. All right, here is Jack Howell, 276 hitter on the replay, 8 homers, 23 driven in, at 245 real world. It's a 2-7, and that is a solid single for Jack Howell. Leadoff single for Howell. He is no threat to run. They will not hold him on. You know, Dan, with that 79 replay I'm doing on the game of the week, I'm thinking about possibly, and I don't want to start something if I can't stick to it, but good morning, Colin. But I'm thinking about, in conjunction with that, is also doing a Pirates replay on the side and just playing their games only, and then playing the game of the week. So, I probably wouldn't want to broadcast a lot of those, because people, I'd be putting too many videos out there, and people would be like, We don't want to keep seeing you all the time. Once a day is fine. Probably too much. All right, here's Doug DeSensei hitting 233 on the replay. 10 homers, 34 driven in. He's hit 234 on the real season. That's 6-2, and that's going to be a line out to short. It's one of these rare situations where you have a triangle split chance. Usually when you drop down here, there's a split between a hit and an out, but this one, all of them go to line outs to short. So Gubicza gets the line out to short, and there is one away. So here is Mark Ryle. Ryle, the right fielder, hitting 244 on the replay. 6 homers, 15 driven in. He only had 5 homers real world. He's already got 6, hitting 200 in the real season. 1-5, and that's a ground ball to shortstop A, and that looks just like a Giovanni's Taylor shot. Tailor-made double play of the game. 6-4-3 on the 1-5, and that is a Giovanni's Taylor shop. Tailor-made double play. Giovanni's Taylor shop in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania. If you're in the area, be sure to check them out. Tell them Demo sent you. They might actually give you a discount. They are the unofficial sponsor of the channel, but they are the official sponsor of the tailor-made double play of the game. So 2 innings are in the books. 2 innings are in. Well, this project here, Dan, is going to take me at least another year. So we're only into, just barely past the 1/3 pole, I think. So got a ways to go for sure. But this is one I'm not rushing. I'm going to just enjoy this every day. Take it one game at a time, and 1 week in real time is 1 day in the replay. All right, here is Seitzer. It's a 4-7, and that's a ground ball second base X. Second baseman McLemore is a 2E22. 2E22. 2-12. He should get to that, no problem, I would think. 2-12 is a G1. That's a 12. E22 and a 12. There's a 12 right there. So Mark McLemore boots it. That's the second Angel error of the ball game. E4. Fraser pitched around the first error by Ryle, but now he's going to have to worry about this for Seitzer. Seitzer has a 5 or a 6 to get the good lead. Doesn't get it, he will hold. Here's Brett. He homered his first time up. 4-7. This time he'll draw the base on balls, as Fraser was a little bit too careful with him. 3rd walk for Fraser. Now he's in trouble. First and second with nobody out. And you got Tartable and White coming up. Tartable walked his first time up. That's a 2. Chance for a balk or pass ball. We're looking at a balk rating of Fraser. It's only a 2, so good chance he will not balk here. And he did not, so we drive on. 2-11, and that's a ground ball shortstop A. We have another Giovanni's Taylor shop. Tailor-made double play. 6-4-3. 2 quick outs. Seitzer does take 3rd, but that sure does take a lot of the starch out of the Kansas City Royals right there. Getting those 2 outs. And now it's all going to be up to Frank White in the clutch. Frank White in the clutch. And let's see, White. There is a, he loses a hit on 3-12, and that's it, 3-12. Here's White. 4-4, and that's a ground ball third base X. We're looking at DeSensei, 3E23. He has to make the play or the run's going to score. 3-16, he'll get to it. He's got to worry about the error. That's a 15, and he is an E23 at third. E23 at third. There's a 2-base error under the 15. So the 3rd California Angel error in 3 innings is really coming to bite him here. 2-base error on Doug DeSensei. And he just had, the Angels just having their problems, and Willie Fraser's got to be thinking, what the hell? But it's now 2-0 Kansas City. as the usually reliable DeSensei makes a two-base error. And now here's Bo Jackson. Jackson struck out his first chance. 1-7, and that's another strikeout. So Bo goes down again. But the Royals add to it an unearned run thanks to two errors by the infielders. And we go to the bottom of the third, 2-0 Kansas City. Gubicza enjoying the lead. Remember, Kansas City won the game real world 10-4. Gubicza did pitch a complete game. Here's Schofield. Schofield, 1-3, fly ball to right, and that's going to be the first out of the inning. Forgot to mention Schofield hitting 225 on the replay. 4 homers, 24 driven in. He hit 251 real world. Here's Bob Boone. He hit let's see, let's put the number in the computer here and then result in the computer now and get to Bob Boone. Boone's hitting 248 on the replay, a homer, 9 driven in. He hit 242 real world. 6-9, and that's going to be a ground ball to second. Frank White takes care of it. 2 up, 2 down, and that will take us to Mark McLemore, second baseman. McLemore hitting 285 on the replay, 3 homers, 22 driven in. He only hit 236 real world. 4-4, and that's a fly ball center field X. Well, Wilson's a 1, so we know he's going to get to it. The only thing he has to worry about is not rolling a 17 because that's the only error you can get on the E1. And there is no 17 there, so easy play for Willie Wilson. And Gubicza doing very well through 3 innings. Maybe the ghost of ID Jester is helping him out. At the end of 3, it is still 2-0. Bad part for the Angels is when you add up the Angels' runs and hits, it totals 1. When you add up their errors, it totals 3. When your errors exceed your runs and hits combined, you're in bad shape. And actually, to only be down 2-0, I think you're pretty fortunate. This could have gotten out of hand very easily. Angels have left some runners on base to help you out, or the Royals have, rather. So here's Balboni. That's a 6-11. That's a ground ball first base X, and we're looking at Joyner. Joyner is a 1E11. So 1, we know he's going to get to it. We're just looking at the E11. And an E11 at first base, he's got to avoid 6, 8, 15, 3, and 18. 18, he could not avoid it. Another error on Wally Joyner. This one a 2-base error with the dreaded 18 coming up. That's the 4th error for the California Angels in this game. E11 and 18 is a 2-base error on Wally Joyner, and Willie Fraser got to be pulling his hair out. Got to be. Got to be. He's looking over and Gene Mox is saying, I can't help you with that. So, all right, here's Angel Salazar. That's a 4-4, and that's going to be a ground ball third base. And at Fraser, every X chance he's cringing because he doesn't know what's going to come next. The Sensei 3E23, 3-16. That'll freeze the runner, but what about the error? He's an 8, and he's an E23. Fortunately, there's no 8 this time, so it's just going to be a ground ball to third, and the runner will have to hold. But certainly, I'm sure Fraser was concerned about that fielding play. Jamie Quirk up now. He reached on a 2-base error by Ryle his first time up. That's a 2. And we're looking at the pass ball rating of Bob Boone, which is only a 3. So no pass ball. Here's Quirk. 3-7 for Quirk, and that's a 1-14 single. That's a base hit. It's only 1 star, so it's going to put runners on the corners with 1 out. Quirk not being held. Infield back for that double play. If they can turn it. 6-8, switch hitter batting left. That's a fly ball right field B. That's a sacrifice fly for Willie Wilson. That'll score. Even the slow running Balboni was hit so deep, Balboni scores. Wilson with his 14th run batted in. He had 30 runs batted in the whole season. This one he gets the run batted in. Balboni scores. It's now 3-0. That run again is unearned. The only earned run of the game so far is George Brett's home run. The other 2 runs are unearned, but they tally on the scoreboard just the same. So Seitzer is up now with 2 outs, and Jamie Quirk at first base. Three, 4, and that's going to be a ground ball to short. Schofield makes the play. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Now 3-0 ball game. Favor of the Kansas City Royals. Gubicza back out, and he'll be facing the top of the order, Downing, White, and Joyner. Only 1 hit in the game for the Royals, and that was erased on a double play, so he's faced the minimum. Here's Downing. 1-9, and that's a ground ball to short. Salazar makes the play, 1 down. It's like a walk in the park for Mark Gubicza, pun intended. And here's Devon White. 6-6 switch hitter, struck him out. So Devon White struck out twice. Those are the 2 strikeouts for Gubicza. He's gotten White both times. Here's Wally World. 2-6, and that's a ballpark blast. It's 1-12, and that's gone. That's a 10. So Wally Joyner has put the Angels on the board. Look at it again. 2-6 is the ballpark blast. Angel Stadium 1-12, or Anaheim Stadium 1-12, and that's a 10. So Joyner, home run number 17 on the replay. He's right at the halfway mark of his home runs as he hit 34 real world. He also had 117 runs batted in real world. This is only RBI number 39. So 17 home runs for Joyner gets the Angels on the board. Hello, Jason. Good to see you. Good morning. It's now cut the lead to 3-1 with that home run from Mr. Wally World. And now they'll bring up Jack Howell. 3-5 for Howell, and that's a home run. 1-19, but that's a 20. How do you like that? Jack Howell has a 95% chance of hitting a home run on a 3-5, a 5% chance of a triple, and he found it. And he's got a ton of triples in this game. He hit 5 triples real world in 449 at-bats. This is his 5th triple in 198 at-bats. He is not even halfway through yet, and he's got all his triples already because of weird stuff like that where he gets a 95% chance for a home run but hits a triple instead. Devil Die is acting up, and that could cost him a run because there are 2 outs. It's going to require the sensei to do something. So Gubicza definitely catching a break. The sensei now in a clutch at bat. And in the clutch, he loses a hit on 1-2. Everywhere else, he is neutral. 2-10, and that's going to be a split. 1-6 is a single, but that's an 18, so he's going to line it to short. And they only get 1 run out of it. Gubicza got off a little easy on that one. At the end of 4, it's 3-1 Kansas City. Angels were looking for more and thought they should have had more, but they didn't. Here is Willie Fraser, and this will be the fatigue inning for Willie Fraser. He's got a 5 right there, so keep an eye there. As he faces George Brett, he's homered and walked. That's a 3-10 for Brett. That's a fly to center field. Hauled in by Devon White. 1 away. And that'll send up Danny Tartable. He's walked and hit into a double play. 6-7 struck him out. Willie Fraser gets a strikeout number 3 for him. It's the first person he struck out other, not named Bo Jackson. So 2 down, and that'll take us to Frank White. 4-6, and that's a base on balls. So 2-out walk to Frank White. And for Fraser, that is walk number 4 to go with 3 strikeouts. White no threat to run. So here's Bo. He struck out twice. 1-8, and he gets the hat trick. Another strikeout for Bo. That will end the inning, and Fraser will keep endurance into the 6th. Actually, one more inning of shutout ball, and Fraser will have a quote-unquote quality start. So we go to the bottom of the 5th. Gubicza's fatigue is number 7, so he's in no issue of being tired yet. It'll be Ryle, Schofield, and Boone due up. 6-5, and that's going to be a fly to left field, hauled in by Bo. One away. Dick Schofield steps to the plate. Flew to right his first chance. 5-4. Flies to center this time, as this time Willie Wilson hauls it in. 2 down for Bob Boone. Boone grounded to Frank White his first chance. 3-9 for Boone, and he's going to get a 1-5 single, but that's a 9. So he will line it right to Salazar to end the inning. And Gubicza comes back, reestablishes himself here in the bottom of the 5th. Go to the 6th, it's 3-1 Royals. And Willie Fraser will come back out to start the 6th. Bullpen activity for the Angels is cooking, though. They do have Gary Lucas, a lefty, loosing in the bullpen, just in case Fraser starts to stumble a bit. It'll be bye-bye Balboni due up. 5-8, and he's going to go bye-bye on a strikeout. There's a dot there, but he has not reached the fatigue level just yet. Strikeout number 5 for Mr. Fraser. And here comes Salazar. He's 0 for 2. 3-12 for Salazar is a ground ball shortstop X. Shortstop is Schofield. He is a 2E12. 2 and an 8 should be no problem. 2 and an 8 is a G2. That's a 10. Usually there aren't that many errors on 10s. Shortstop 12. Nope, 15, 3, and 18. So good play for Schofield. And 2 up, 2 down for Willie Fraser. Willie Fraser has yet to have a 1-2-3 inning. He's got his first chance right here to do it against Jamie Quirk. Oh, and one of the red dye got stuck up in there, so we'll redo this. 5-11, and that's a ballpark single check. 1-5, that's a 12, so it's a liner to second, and for the first time today, Willie Fraser, a 1-2-3 inning. So now he does have a quality start. 6 innings, 3 runs, only one of them earned, so he certainly deserved a better fate than what he's gotten so far. Due up here in the bottom of the 6th, we got McLemore, followed by Downing and White. See if they can close the gap. McLemore flew to center his first chance. 5-7, switch hitter. Ground ball second base X, Frank White. He is a 2E11. 2 and a 16 is good all day long. E11 and a 15. That could be interesting. E11, there's a 15 right there. So now Frank White boots it. So now the Yips are going to the Kansas City Royals. Frank White's an E11, and that is a 15. So E11 and a 15 produces the first error of the game on the Royals. Now Gubicza can feel the pain of Willie Fraser. McLemore needs a 4, 5, or 6 to get the good lead. Doesn't get it, he'll hold, and here comes Brian Downing. Tying run is at the plate. 4-7, and that's a base on balls for Gubicza, so maybe that error kind of shook him up a bit. First walk issued by Gubicza. The Angels have runners at first and second, nobody out. Devon White is an A bunter. Boy, you'd love to get those guys in scoring position, but you hate giving up an out as well. But Devon White has struck out twice. So he is not faring well against Gubicza. So we're going to have him put down the sacrifice bunt and at least try to get a productive out of him. Because he just, for whatever reason, he can't figure Gubicza out. So we're going to be bunting. And the white die says it's going to the cat. It's going to be fielded by the catcher, Quirk. And now Corners are in, so it's a B bunter. So basically a 9 or less, it's a good bunt. It's a 5, and that is, 5 is over here. It's a good bunt, sacrifice bunt. So good sacrifice right in front of the plate. It's going to go 2 to 4. And both runners advance to second and third with 1 out for Wally Joyner. Joyner homered his last time up. So the Angels are hoping that the sacrifice bunt pays off. We will see. Infield for the Angels is for the Royals rather is in. They don't want to give up a cheap run. I know they're up by 2, but they just don't want to give up a cheap ground out. 6-10, ground ball third base X. We're looking at Seitzer. This could be a problem. He's a 4E26. 4-9. That could cost him with the infield in. 4 and a 9 certainly does. It's a G3 pound when the infield is in. That turns into a single, 2 stars. So that's going to end up costing him 2 runs. Maybe bad managing there. I don't know. You have to ask the Royal manager on that one. I believe that was Billy Gardner before they hired John Wathan. So check for an error. There's a 12. And he is an E26. E26. There is no 12 there. 10 and 11, but no 12. So that's going to tie the ball game at 3 apiece. So if you want to call that bad managing, you can call it bad managing. But if it gets a ground ball B or whatever and the run scores, you're going to say, well, why didn't you cut the run off? So anyway, here's Jack Howell. 1 out, runner at first. Tie game now. 6-9 for Howell. That's a fly to right, 2 down. And actually now that would have scored the run, I think. No, that wouldn't. That would have been the third out, so it wouldn't have been a sac fly. All right, so 2 down for DeSensei. That's the beauty of managing. You can always second guess. You never know what the dice are going to say. Here's DeSensei, 1-5, and that's a ground ball to third, and that will end the inning. But the Angels put 2 on the board, and we are tied at 3 apiece after 6. Much different than the real world game, which the Royals won in blowout fashion, 10-4. But now we start the top of the 7th. Willie Fraser back out. He had a 1-2-3 inning in the 6th. And he's gotten Willie Wilson 3 times, so they're going to let him see what he can do here. 2-5 for Wilson, and he's going to get him again. Ground ball to Joyner. Easy play, 1 down. So it turns out they did not need Gary Lucas after all. So Willie Fraser, no bullpen action. Willie Fraser is on his own for this inning. 1-8 for Seitzer, and that's a single. Now, if a couple guys get on, they might bring somebody back up. Seitzer, with a chance to take or get a good lead, needs a 5 or a 6. Does not get the good lead, but that's a 2. Chance of a possible balk on Willie Fraser. Fraser's balk rating is a 2. No balk there. But now he can establish the good lead, so he will hold for George Brett. 2-7 for Brett. That's a single, 1-4. That's a 14. He lines it right to McLemore. Out number 2. 2 down, and that will send us to Danny Tartable. Tartable is 0 for 2 with a walk. One 3, and that's a fly to right field to end the inning. So Willie Fraser is going to go 7 innings. I think we'll cap him at 7 innings. Just to be realistic, we'll cap him at 7 innings. And we'll go to the box score and get his totals for the game. He still has a chance to win it if the Angels can take the lead this inning, or else he would get a no decision. So for Fraser, 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, 3 runs, only 1 earned, 4 walks and 5 strikeouts. So very good outing there. Not sure who's going to be coming in next for the Angels. It might depend on whether they take the lead or not, so we're not too sure about that. But we are at the 7th inning stretch, and we are sure about that. So we will be going to take me out to the ball game so I can heat up my coffee, because I'm sure the coffee, let me taste it, I'm sure it's probably gotten a little lukewarm by now. And not too bad. But when I stopped doing the take me out to the ball game, people asked me to bring it back, so we're going to bring it back. So we go to the 7th inning stretch with the score tied at 3 apiece. And now while I go heat my coffee, we're going to give you a chance to enjoy Take Me Out to the Ball Game. It also helps me stretch a bit, walking down the stairs to get my coffee. And then I can be energized for the last third of the game. So, 7th inning stretch time, 3-3. And now, get ready for Take Me Out to the Ball Game. All right, we are back and ready to go. Looking to finish this game up. We'll give a quick recap. After 6.5 innings, the line score reads the Angels 3 runs, 4 hits, and 4 errors. The Royals 3 runs, 3 hits, and 1 error. So we go to the bottom of the 7th. Gubicza back out. We'll face Mark Ryle in this 3-3 ball game. 1-7, and that's going to be a strikeout. That'll be strikeout only number 3. He got White twice, and this is the first person other than Devon White that he has struck out. So strikeout number 3. And then we go to Dick Schofield. Oh, again. I don't know why these dice are getting stuck in the tower here. It's kind of weird. And it did it again. Why is it getting stuck like that? Maybe somebody can explain that. All right, 4-11, and that's going to be a fly ball right field X. We're looking at Tartable. He's a 4-E7. 4-2, that's going to drop for a double. Extra bases for Dick Schofield. 4-2 is a double. That's a 10, so there shouldn't be any problem with an error. E7, there's no 10 there, but it will be a double because of the double die being a 2. Dick Schofield drops a double down that right field line, and Tartable unable to get it. So the go-ahead runs in scoring position with 1 out for Bob Boone. 6-8 for Booney. 1 to 12 is a single. That's a 5. So, but it's only 1 star. It's runners on the corners with only 1 out. And this is the fatigue inning for Gubicza. So 1 more base runner and he becomes fatigued. McLemore is your batter. They will play for the double play. Try to get out of the inning. 2-6, but it's a base on balls, and now Gubicza is tired. 1 out, and the bases are loaded. Gubicza is tired. Now, what do you do if you're the Royals? Let's look and see who they have in their bullpen that's got decent rest. Their bullpen as a whole has been kind of overtaxed. They did pick up Bob Shirley recently from the Yankees. I don't know if that was a waiver move or whatever, but he's on the roster. He's fresh. Might not be the kind of guy you want to bring in right now, though. And actually now they don't even have him on the roster. Oh, wait a minute, I'm looking at the wrong team. Let me bring over here. Here we go. They got Farr, Jerry Don Gleaton, Bob Shirley, and Quisenberry. Oh, they actually added Bob Stoddard. I didn't see that. So let me go to the minor leagues real quick and pull the Royals and see if I have a Bob Stoddard card, which I should have. I would think Bob Stoddard would have a card. But with Strat-O-Matic, you never know. You're looking for Bob Stoddard. Do we have a Bob Stoddard card? I am not seeing a Bob Stoddard card. I don't know how many innings he pitched. Oh, here he is. He was hiding. There he is, Bob Stoddard. So he certainly has a fresh arm because he hasn't pitched yet. Just got the call up. But he's also a starting pitcher and an asterisk by his name, so I'm thinking he's going to be used as a starter coming up. So we're not going to go to Stoddard. Let's check Steve Farr. Jerry Don Gleaton. Dan Quisenberry. Boy, Quisenberry's really been overused. With Downing, they're going to let, since Downing's a righty, they're going to let Gubicza pitch to Downing. But I think they're going to bring, if it gets to Joyner, they're going to bring in the left-hander, Jerry Don Gleaton. So we'll see what happens here. They're going to play back for the double play, hoping they can induce Downing to hit into a double play. That's a 3-8, and they do right there. But if they had played in, it would be a single, but they played back and got the Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play on the 3-8 ground ball shortstop A. It is a 6-4-3 double play, and Gubicza gets out of the mess. And we end the 7th inning tied at 3. Wow. Another tailor-made double play. Giovanni's Tailor Shop is getting their fill of advertisement in this game. All right, so now the Angels will need a new pitcher because we weren't sure who to bring in based on the score. So now we're looking, and we'll check and see who they have available. It's always a good idea to see who's available, who's actually on the roster, make sure nobody snuck in there. We got from the right side, we got Greg Minton and Dwayne Bice, but I think Bice pitched a few innings in the last game, so he's actually showing his tired on the computer. So he's a last resort. We do have Finley and Lucas, and I don't show any of those being tired. So we got our pick here of who we want to go with. Lucas, well, Minton's the most rested. Let's see if they want a righty or a lefty. They got right. They're going to Greg Minton out of the bullpen. He's the most rested. So Greg Minton, I believe they called him the Moon Man in his days in San Francisco. He is on. He's a 0 hold, so that makes him a -3. And he'll be facing White, Jackson, and Balboni, 3 right-handed hitters. So let's get the numbers on Minton. In the real season, Minton was, well, I'll show it here. In the real season, Minton was 5-4 with a 3.08 ERA and 10 saves. On the replay, he is 0-1 with an ERA of only 1.23 and 2 saves. He has pitched so far 15 innings, given up 12 hits, 1 walk, and 8 strikeouts. And he's going to be facing Frank White to start the 8th in a 3-3 tie. So now a no decision for Willie Fraser. So here's Frank White. 1-9 for White, and that's a base on balls. So not a good start for Minton. Start walking guys. Frank White's not going to be held, though. Here's Bo Jackson. He's got the hat trick with 3 strikeouts. Could he go for the golden sombrero? 4-9. No, this time he's going to walk. So Moon Minton has walked the first 2 he has faced. Not a good idea. That'll bring up Balboni. Normally you think it'd be a good bunting situation, but obviously with Balboni, you're not going to bunt. So they're going to have him see what that's a 2, chance for a balk or pass ball. We're checking the pass ball rating on Boone, which again is a 3. And there's no pass ball. Minton could use a strikeout or a double play right about now. 1-6, he gets the strikeout. 1-5 would have been a double play. 1-6, he gets the strikeout, though. So that's 1 away. Now a double play gets you out of the inning. Here's Angel Salazar. Thanks for that, Captain Carl. I guess if he doesn't start till 3 days from now, I guess if I wanted to pitch him an inning, it wouldn't hurt. All right, here is Angel Salazar. Thank you for that information, by the way. Here is Salazar. First and second, 1 out. 6-11 for Minton is a ground ball pitcher X. He's an E0, but we're going to roll the 3D6s to make sure there's no rare play. Make sure there's no 5 here. And there is not. So he's an E0, but what is his range? The computer says his range is a 1, so it's an automatic double play. It's going to be a G1 automatically, no matter what you roll, as far as I know. Well, maybe not. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't want to jump to conclusions here. Let me see here. But I thought if he's a 1, it would be automatic. Not necessarily. If you got to roll a higher number to get the double play. So let's just figure it out. 1-9. Actually, it's a G2, so I'm glad I did check that out and not just go with it automatically. 1-9 is a G2, so it's going to be a force play, not a double play. So thank goodness I didn't jump ahead of myself here. So it's going to be they're going to get Jackson at second base on a 1-4 fielder's choice. Salazar will reach. Going to third is Frank White. And now there's 2 away. And Minton has to deal with Jamie Quirk. Quirk in a clutch situation will gain a hit on 2-6 and 1-9. 2-6 and 1-9. Is that true, midlife, or are you just making a funny there? I don't know. I mean, stranger things have happened. I know that I think his name was Marty Cordova for the Orioles back in the mid-2000s. Went on the disabled list because he spent too much time in a tanning bed. I know that was a true story. All right, here's Jamie Quirk now in the clutch against the Moon Man. 5-4, and that's a line out to second base. He's not tired, so the line out is good. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. Still tied at 3 apiece. Well, I'm sure baseball gives those nicknames out for various reasons, so that's as good as any other, I suppose. All right, we're going to cap Gubicza at 7 innings because he was starting to struggle there. So let's go to the box score and get his final totals, and Jerry Don Gleaton will be coming on for the Royals. So let's see here. For Gubicza, 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 were earned, walked 2, struck out 3. So they don't really trust right now Bob Shirley until they know what they've got. So they're going to somebody they trust a little bit better, Jerry Don Gleaton. He's got a 4.26 ERA versus a 6.31 ERA in a tie game in the eighth. I don't think you want to go to a guy with a 6.31 ERA. So Jerry Don Gleaton coming in for the Royals. We'll bring him in. He's going to face the switch hitter White and then two lefties, Joyner and Howell. Of course, the Angels could pinch hit for Howell. They do have plenty of bench guys to do so. So Gleaton, real world 4-4, 4.26 ERA and 5 saves. On the replay, 2-1, 3.38 ERA and 1 save. 19 innings pitched, 17 hits, 6 walks, and 14 strikeouts. So Jerry Don Gleaton coming on to face Devon White. Gleaton with a -4 hold makes him a -3 to help with the base running. Hold those runners close. Here's Devon White. 3-8 against the lefty. That's a split. 1-6 is a single. That's a 12. He lines it to Salazar at short. 1 away. And that'll send up Wally Joyner. Lefty-lefty matchup. Joyner is 2 for 3. All against Gubicza. 4-10. That's a ballpark single check. It's only 1-5. So we're going to keep the ground ball B pitcher because there's nobody on base to affect anything. So we'll keep the original result. Try to minimize all those line outs. And now Jack Howell will be called back. And they will go to the bench for a right-handed hitting outfielder. So let's see who they've got on the bench that they can use. I know Jack Howell is 2 for 3 with a single and a triple, but that was against a righty. And if you look at his card here against lefties, he has nothing against lefties. I mean, he's pitiful against lefties. Can't hit lefties for anything. A guy that does hit lefties well, and he's got to get a hit eventually, right? I mean, he can't go on forever not getting a hit. They are going to George Hendrick. He was a 241 hitter with 5 home runs, and 77% of his at-bats came against left-handed pitching. He's got a pretty good left-handed, situation there against lefties. However, on the replay, he is 0 for 22. That's the downside. 0 for 22, so they're going to give him a go. George Hendrick. He will pinch hit here in the 8th inning. George Hendrick. See what Hendrick will do here against Jerry Don Gleaton. 3-6. It's a single. George Hendrick gets his first base hit of the replay. Base hit, George Hendrick. He gets the base hit, and he will be called back for a pinch runner for the Angels. They will go to Gary Pettis to pinch run. Chance to steal a base as well. And it'll help their defense in the outfield immensely. So Pettis will pinch run here in the 8th inning. And we'll see if he can get a lead against Gleaton. First of all, though, we'll bring in Pettis off the bench. To run for Hendrick. Look at Pettis' stolen base numbers. Real season. Gary Pettis stole 24 bases, got caught 5 times, and the replay stolen 8 bases, been caught twice. But this is a prime chance to steal a base, despite the -3 here, because he's got that 19. So a 5 or a 6, he gets the lead. Does not get the lead, he will hold, but he is a 17 runner, so any kind of double by the sensei, he's got a chance to score. Here's the sensei. He's 0 for 3. 4-10. Ballpark single check. 1-5. That's an 18. So we'll keep the fly to center to end the inning. So the Angels don't score. We go to the 9th, tied at 3. And now for defensive purposes, they will move Mark Ryle from right field to left field. So Ryle will take over, move from right to left. Devon White will move from center to right. and Gary Pettis will stay in the game to play center field. So that definitely helps their defense. No question about it. So he goes into center field in the 9th. So White is now in right field. Ryle is now in left field. And Pettis is in center field. All right, top of the 9th we go. Greg Minton back out. And he will be facing the top of the order, Willie Wilson, Kevin Seitzer, and George Brett. Tie game at 3. 3 runs, 7 hits, 4 errors for the Angels. 3 runs, 3 hits, and 1 error for the Royals. 4-5, switch hitter batting left. That's a double, 1-2, single, 3-20. Leadoff single for Willie Wilson, and you know he's looking to get a lead. Let's check out Wilson's stolen base prowess on the 87 season. He stole 59 bases, got caught 11 times in the real season. He's stolen 21 bases, got caught 3 times on the replay. He needs a 3 through 6. 3 through 6. And he gets the lead, but that's a 1. He could be picked off. His get-back number is 15. And he barely gets back. Boy, that was close. He barely got back. In fact, Joyner's kind of looking at the umpire saying, hey, I got him. But the umpire says, nope, we don't have replay in 1987, so we're going to go with my call and live with it. But now Wilson cannot establish a good lead. So here's Kevin Seitzer. If he was a decent bunter, would have him bunt, but not really a good bunter, so we're going to swing away. 5-6, and that's a strikeout by Minton. 1 down, and that's going to send us to George Brett. Brett homered in the first, been quiet since. Oh, we got a hop and dice. We're going to re-roll that. 6-9, and that is a pop out to Wally Joyner. Out number 2. And we are looking at Danny Tartable. 0 for 3 is Tartable. 5-7. Ground ball second base X. McLemore's a 2E22, but they were holding Wilson on. So he is now a 3E22. We'll see if that makes a difference. 3 and a 9, it might very well make a difference. Might make all the difference. 3 and a 9. 3 and a 9. No, G3, there's no pound. 3-8 with a pound sign, but 3 and a 9. He gets by with it, with the getting to it with a G3. That's a 4. That is a 4. McLemore's an E22. There's no 4 there. There is if you were an E21, you would have had a 4, but not E22. So McLemore makes the play, and that's going to get the Angels out of the inning. So we go to the bottom of the 9th. Chance for the Angels to walk it off. And they will have Ryle, Schofield, and Boone, your scheduled hitters. Hello, Jim. Good to see you. But with Don Gleaton, the lefty, still out there, they will pinch hit for Mark Ryle. So they will go to their bench for a right-handed hitter. And that right-handed hitter is going to be Darryl Miller. And he will take over in left field. He's also the backup catcher. But Miller will take over in left field after if it goes extra innings. He will pinch hit here in the 9th, play left field if it goes extra innings. So Miller. So the Angels are hoping it is Miller time to walk things off. That leaves Rupert Jones, Gus Polidor, and another catcher, Jack Fimple, on the bench for the Angels. On the real season, Darryl Miller was in 108 at-bats. He hit 241 with 4 home runs. On the replay, Miller is hitting 235 in 98 at-bats, so he's almost completed his time. He's got 4 homers and 15 runs driven in. So Miller facing Don Gleaton to start. Bottom of the 9th, 1-8, and that's a fly to center field. Hauled in by Willie Wilson, one away. Takes us to Dick Schofield. Schofield is your batter. 6-11 for Don Gleaton is a ground ball first base X. That could be trouble because that's Balboni, 4E18. 4-4, that's going to obviously be a base hit of some sort. F definitely is. 4-4 is a single. That's a 13, and he is an E18. This could be an error on top of it. E18, no, he got lucky. 11, 12, and 14 are errors, not a 13. So it won't be an error on Balboni, but he does let the ball get past him for a base hit. So Schofield reaches, and he's looking to get a lead. He has a 4 or a 5 to get a lead. If he can get in scoring position and be the winning run. Does not get the lead. He's got to hold. And here comes Bob Boone. And now the Royal bullpen is starting to stir down there. Right-handed action. Dan Quisenberry loosening the bullpen for the Royals. The rubber-armed Dan Quisenberry. Well, we got hop and dice. We're going to re-roll that. 2-6 against the lefty. That's another Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play. 6-4-3 on the 2-6 against the lefty. It is a 6-4-3 tailor-made double play, and we have extra innings here in Anaheim. That'll be it for Jerry Don Gleaton. He's going to go 2 innings. And let's see what he gave up. He gave up 2 hits, no runs. And he didn't walk anybody or strike anybody out. And for the Angels, Minton, he has a fatigue of 3, so he will stay in the game. In fact, I'll move things over here now because we're running out of room. And he'll be facing Frank White to start the ball, or start the top of the 10th. We do need on the computer, however, to bring in the left, to put Darryl Miller in left field as he pinch hit for Ryle. So he needs to stay in the game and play left field. And now, Frank White against the Moon Man, Greg Minton. Top of the 10th. 6-3, it's a base on balls. Walk by Minton. Here comes Bo Jackson. There aren't any lefties coming up, so not many lefties for him to turn to as far as trying to play matchups. So I think they're going to leave Minton out there, at least for this inning. White, no threat to run at first base. And, of course, Bo Jackson, not a good bunter, so they'll just have him swing away. 2-9, and he's going to strike out again. That is the golden sombrero for Bo Jackson. He has struck out 4 times. And here comes Balboni, another strikeout victim on multiple occasions. But the long ball can give you a 2-run lead just that quickly as well. 4-11 rather is a fly ball left field X. That's the new left fielder, Miller. I'll tell you what, you put a new fielder out there and the ball will find you. It just happens way too many times. Miller is a 3E7 in left field. 3 with an E7 for Miller. 3 and a 3 is bad. This could be extra bases. 3 and a 3 is a double 2 stars. So the runner on first, White, will only get third unless there's an error. But Balboni's going to hit a double. And now we're checking for the error. He's an E7, and that is a 13. There's a 16, 6, 15, and 18, but no 13. So there's no error on the play, but it is a double off the bat of Balboni. And now you have Angel Salazar coming up, and they might pinch hit for Salazar. Look at their bench. And they are going to go to Jim Eisenreich to pinch hit. Jim Eisenreich will pinch hit for the Royals. So we'll bring in Eisenreich. on the computer to hit for Salazar. Eisenreich on the real season hit 238 with 4 home runs. On the replay, he has not done anything yet. This is his first at bat coming up. Now, the Angels could counter with a lefty, but if they did, then the Royals would counter with a right-handed hitter off the bench. They could go to a Hal McRae or Bill Pecota, which is a better hitter than Eisenreich. So the Angels are going to stick with Minton here with the infield in. So we bring in Eisenreich. And then Pecota would come in and play short in the 10th. So Eisenreich, first base is open, but I think they want to go after Eisenreich right here with the infield in. For 8, and that is a single 1-11. That's a 12. It's a line out to second base, and Minton very lucky there as McLemore was able to snag it. 2 away, and now that means Pecota will be going in to play short. Oh, I got a phone call I have to take. 1 second. Okay, we're back before I was so rudely interrupted. As I was saying, I need to bring in Pecota. He's going to be coming in to play short in the bottom of the inning. But right now we have Jamie Quirk. Clutch situation for Jamie Quirk in the clutch. Quirk gains a couple of hits, 1-9 and 2-6 and 2-8. So there's 3 hits he gains here. First base is open, but I don't think you want to pass it to Willie Wilson. I think you want to go ahead and take your chances with Mr. Quirk and not deal with Mr. Wilson. All right, Minton to Quirk. 6-8, and that's a line out to first base. There's a dot there, but he has not reached fatigue. So the line out to first is good, and Minton pitches out of it. And we're going to cap Minton at 3 innings of pitching. He did stellar relief work. The Moon Man gets him out of it. And we'll get the numbers on Minton. Right now, first things first, we got to bring Pecota in to play short. On the bench for the Royals, they still have Thad Bosley, Larry Owen, Juan Beniquez, and Hal McRae available. But they need a new pitcher out of the bullpen. And we'll see who that's going to be. We were thinking Quisenberry if they got the lead. But now they're going to bring in Bob Stoddard. He's the fresh arm, and he doesn't start for a few days. So if they want to pitch him 1 inning, maybe 2, it's not going to be that big of a deal. So they will bring in Bob Stoddard to come in and pitch. And this is his inaugural game. On the real season, he was 1-3 with 1 save and a 4.28 ERA. And he'll be facing McLemore, Downing, and White. So some switch hitters there. So it really doesn't matter what side of the plate or what arm you're using for the pitcher. We go to the box score and get the final totals on the Moon Man, Greg Minton. 3 innings of relief. 2 hits, nothing, and 3 walk. He did walk 3 and struck out 3. Only giving up 2 hits and no runs, which is more important. So we go to the bottom of the 10th. It'll be McLemore against Bob Stoddard. So we need to bring in Stoddard on the computer. Oh, I've already done that. Never mind. So now we're ready to go. McLemore. Get a 111, and that's a ground ball to first, and Balboni will take it to the bag himself. 1 away. Top of the order for Brian Downing. 5-6, and that's a 1-7 double. 11 will be a single. So 1-out single for Downing. He is the winning run. Doesn't run all that well at 111, but I'm not sure. He is a DH, so you can pinch run with whoever you want if you're the Angels. But do they have any speed on the bases? They do have Gus Polidor running at, well, he's an 11 also. Rupert Jones is a 13. They're going to stick with Downing. They're going to stick with Downing. Stoddard to Devon White. .410, switch hitter batting right-handed. That's a pop-up to Balboni. 2 down for Wally Joyner. Joyner, the only thing keeping us from going to an 11th inning. That's a 2-6, and that's a ballpark blast for Wally Joyner. It's 1-12, and that's gone. Wally World walks off the Kansas City Royals with a ballpark blast. 2-6 ballpark blast. 1-12. That's an 8. Wally World, his second home run of the game. Home run number 18 on the replay. He had 34 real season home runs. Walks it off. RBIs 42 and 43. And the Angels come all the way back from down 3-0 to defeat the Kansas City Royals. And poor Bob Stoddard just trying to get some work in before his first start, and he gets the loss right away. Only makes it 2/3 of an inning. Gives up 2 hits and 2 runs. Bad break for Stoddard. Joyner home run wins it. And now we go to the box score and cap this one off. Walk-off style. 5 runs, 10 hits and 4 errors for California. 3 runs, 5 hits and 1 error for the Royals. And California now improves to 35 and 31. Kansas City drops to 30 and 33. Obviously, your player of the game, Wally Joyner, 3 for 5 with 2 home runs, including the walk-off. And that's going to do it here from Anaheim Stadium. The Royals, if they look back at their demise, they left 12 runners on base. So that was their bugaboo. They had these chances when the Angels were making all these errors. They had chances to pile on the lead and couldn't get it done. They leave 12 on base. Angels only leave 5 on base. So that's going to do it for the June 18th date. Monday morning, we'll be back with the June 19th date. We'll have a fresh set of opponents. And the first game on the board will be the Yankees and the Red Sox from Fenway Park in Boston. 2 lefties, Ron Guidry against Bruce Hurst. It'll be game number 448 on the replay, and the first game from Friday, June the 19th. Yankees and Red Sox are your Monday morning fare. And as we look at the standings, I forgot to put the standings in. Yankees are 38 and 28. And the poor Red Sox are 25 and 40, although they have jumped up to 5th place, leaving Baltimore and Cleveland behind. So they are 25 and 40, are the Red Sox. So that's for Monday, but for today, the man is Wally Joyner. He is the player of the game. His 2 home runs, including the walk-off 2-run homer, do it. as the Angels defeat the Royals 5-3. So I hope you all have a great weekend. If you enjoy the modern baseball game, I hope you're enjoying the opening weekend festivities. And if you got minor leagues will start shortly as well. So if you have a local minor league team, you can try to go support them. But that's going to do it from here. Until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it. And I will see you all down the road.